You ever sit there, look around, and realize you're surrounded, but you're still alone? Funny, huh? That you could give people everything, your time, your heart, your loyalty, and all they do is step over it like it's garbage on the sidewalk. That's the joke, right? You walk with them, laugh with them, even bleed for them. And the second you trip or slow down, they leave you behind like you were never there to begin with. Let me tell you something that no one wants to admit out loud. Most people don't value you. They value what you give. And once the giving stops, so does the pretending. That smile, fake. That concern, temporary. That friendship, conditional. You don't really matter to them, you just matter to what they can take from you. And the moment you stop playing your role in their little play, the moment you stand still and ask, hey, what about me? They vanish, ghosted, erased, like you were never real to begin with. And I know how bad it hurts. Because you thought they cared. You thought walking with them meant something. But truth is, you were walking alone the whole damn time. Now, you want to know what's worse than being alone? Pretending you're not. You see, people think being alone is the worst thing in the world. They panic at the thought. They rush into rooms, into crowds, into fake friendships, just to avoid hearing the sound of their own silence. But let me tell you what's worse than standing alone. It's standing next to someone who doesn't give a damn whether you fall or fly. It's laughing with people who wouldn't even notice if you disappeared. It's sacrificing yourself for people who wouldn't cross a puddle for you. That's hell. That's betrayal in its rawest form. And yet we keep doing it. Why? Because we want to be seen. We want to matter. We want someone, anyone, to say, I see you. I care. But here's the brutal, filthy, ugly truth most people choke on. Not everyone who stands beside you is with you. Some just want your warmth, your light, your protection, your resources. And once they've drained you dry, they toss you to the wolves and say you were always too difficult, too sensitive, too intense. They'll twist your loyalty into weakness and your kindness into a flaw. And by the time you realize the game they're playing, it's too late. You're empty. And they're long gone, already feeding off someone else. So what now? What do you do when the people you stood for never stood for you? Do you shrink? Do you chase? Do you beg them to see your worth? No, you don't. You rise, alone, cold, silent. You walk away from the crowd, even if it hurts, even if it bleeds, even if it means nights staring at walls, questioning everything. Because here's the power in standing alone. It's real. It's raw. It's you. No masks, no leeches, no fake handshakes. You finally get to see who you are without the noise. And that silence, that emptiness, it becomes your training ground. Your solitude becomes your rebirth. Because the ones who walked away, they never deserved to walk beside you in the first place. And the moment you realize that, The moment you accept that not everyone deserves access to you, you become dangerous. You become focused, unbreakable. You stop explaining yourself. You stop apologizing. You stop lowering your voice just so someone else feels tall. And don't let them come back. No. When they see you alone and glowing, when they realize you didn't fall apart like they hoped, they'll try to creep back in with old jokes, with fake apologies, with that I miss you act. Let them knock. Let them cry. Let them scream. But don't you open that damn door, because they chose to leave when you needed them most. They chose silence when your soul screamed. And now you choose peace. Let them feel the loss. Let them drown in their own guilt. That's the consequence of mistaking loyalty for weakness. That's what they get for treating a blessing like it was disposable. And maybe, just maybe, the silence you gave them will be louder than any scream they ever deserved. You know what's twisted? People don't realize they had something priceless until they're staring at an empty space they can't refill. And by then, it's too damn late. They'll replay the moments you stood there, giving everything without asking for much. They'll remember the times they made you wait, ignored your messages, brushed off your feelings, and they'll try to convince themselves it wasn't that bad. But deep down, they know. They know they messed up. They know they took advantage. They know they had someone who was real in a world full of fake. Someone who listened without judgment, stayed without reward, and gave without conditions. And they threw that away like it was nothing. Why? Because they thought you'd never leave. They believed your kindness was eternal, your patience bottomless, your loyalty unshakable. But everything has limits. Even the purest heart has a breaking point. Even the softest soul gets tired of being walked on. And the day you finally choose to walk alone, that's the day they lose access forever. That's the day you stop being the background character in their story and start becoming the main character in your own. People love to talk about how they miss the old you. But what they're really saying is they miss the version of you that tolerated their disrespect. They miss the fool who kept forgiving, kept answering, kept giving them another chance after another damn chance. They don't miss you. They miss the control. They miss the benefits. They miss the warmth they never earned. But they don't miss you because they never saw the real you to begin with. They were too busy using you to look deeper. They were too selfish to ask what you needed. And now that you've changed, now that you've gone quiet, now that you've built walls and burned bridges, they're lost. And good. Let them stay lost. Let them wander. Let them regret. That's the price of playing with something pure. That's the tax of betraying someone who would have given you the world. You don't owe them closure. You don't owe them an explanation. You don't even owe them a goodbye. You owe yourself peace. And that peace starts the moment you stop looking back. And yeah, It's not easy. Walking alone ain't some fairy tale power trip. It's dark. It's heavy. There are nights where you stare at your phone hoping it lights up. Mornings where your chest feels like it's being crushed by silence. Days when you question if you were ever truly enough. But that pain, that's the withdrawal from fake love. That's the detox from people who drained you. And you gotta go through it. You have to face it. No shortcuts, no distractions, no going back. You fight through it minute by minute, scream by scream, until you come out the other side harder, smarter, colder. That's what growth feels like. It's ugly. It breaks you. But it builds something better from the wreckage. You become someone who doesn't chase, who doesn't beg, who doesn't explain their worth to people too blind to see it. You stop auditioning for roles in people's lives you were never meant to play in the first place. You realize that the people who truly value you don't need to be convinced. They just know. They show up. They stay. They respect. And until you find those people, if you ever do, you walk alone with your head high. See, when you're alone, you're dangerous because you're focused. You're sharp. You're not distracted by drama or approval or fake connections. You're not out here proving anything to anyone. You've already proved it to yourself. You survived what they thought would destroy you. You kept moving when everyone expected you to collapse. You didn't fold. You didn't become bitter. You became wise. That's what standing alone teaches you. It teaches you to build your own table instead of begging for a seat at someone else's. It teaches you that silence isn't weakness, it's control. It teaches you that not everyone deserves your story, your energy, your presence. Some people are meant to be lessons, not lifelines. And once you learn that, once it really clicks in your bones, you stop clinging, you stop explaining, you stop needing anyone who made you feel like too much, because you finally understand it's better to walk alone than to walk with people who only smile when you're useful. They'll try to rewrite the story later. Oh yeah, count on it. Once they see you glowing without them, thriving in the same silence they once used to ignore you, they'll come crawling back, but not as themselves. No, they'll come with a mask. One made of guilt, dressed up in nostalgia, wrapped in excuses like, I was going through a lot, or I didn't realize what I had. And you'll feel that sting in your chest. The one that wants to believe they finally get it. But don't fall for it. Because if they valued you, they would have fought for you when it mattered. Not after the damage was done. Not after they saw you pull yourself from the wreckage they helped create. That sudden clarity they have, it's not love, it's loss. It's them realizing they no longer have access to what they once took for granted. It's not regret for what they did. It's regret that you're no longer there to tolerate it. And you, standing stronger, colder, quieter. That's the karma. That's the punchline to their joke. You healed without them. You walked through hell with no guide, no support, and no safety net, and still made it out. You know what most people fear? Not being hated. No. What they fear is being forgotten, being irrelevant, being replaced. They don't expect you to stop needing them. They think they're unforgettable, irreplaceable, untouchable. And when you prove them wrong, not with revenge, not with drama, but with complete silence, that's when the panic hits. Because now you're no longer feeding their ego. You're no longer playing their game. You've stopped trying to prove your worth to people who couldn't see it with a flashlight in the dark. And that's terrifying to them. Because now they see your value. Too late. Now they hear your silence. And it's louder than anything you ever said. They'll start watching from afar, stalking your peace, craving the energy they once treated like it was nothing. But they can't reach it anymore, because you finally realized the truth. They didn't deserve a front row seat in your life. Hell, they didn't even deserve to stand at the door. That's the shift that changes everything. When you stop basing your worth on how others treat you. When you stop begging for love that should have been given freely. When you stop explaining to people who never cared to understand. You start walking alone. And for the first time, the road makes sense. You see clearer. You breathe deeper. And you realize something powerful. You are enough. Without the crowd, without the applause, without the validation. You're enough because you're still here. After everything, after every betrayal, every silence, every fake smile, every broken promise, you're still standing, still moving, still fighting. That kind of resilience, that's not common. That's not average. That's rare. And they'll see it too. Once you stop giving them access. Once you stop explaining yourself. Once you stop letting them in just because they used to be close. Let them knock. Let them regret. But don't you ever shrink again for the comfort of cowards who couldn't handle your full light. You were never too much. You were never too intense. You were never the problem. They just weren't ready for someone who loved real. Someone who stood tall while everyone else played small. Someone who stayed loyal in a world full of backstabbers. That kind of presence, it scares weak people. They don't know how to handle realness because it exposes their fakeness. And instead of leveling up, they try to drag you down. But you didn't stay down. You learned. You rebuilt. And now you don't just stand alone. You stand unshaken. And that's where your power is. Not in how many people you keep around, but in how fearless you are when there's no one left. When you still choose peace over attention, solitude over fake company, dignity over cheap love. That's what makes you different. That's what makes you unforgettable. And they'll carry that regret like a shadow they can't outrun. You ever notice how they start watching you the moment you go quiet? Not when you were breaking down. Not when you were screaming for help. Not when you were drowning while they stood there holding the rope. No, they start watching when you finally stop explaining, when you stop reaching out, when you stop showing up for people who never showed up for you. That's when they notice. That's when it hits them. Because silence is a language they were never prepared for. They knew how to manipulate your kindness, twist your words, play with your emotions, but they don't know how to handle your absence. That's where your strength lives now. Not in shouting, not in begging, but in walking away, head down, jaw clenched, fists scarred, and heart cold, because you've realized something they hoped you'd never understand. Not everyone who stands beside you is on your side. Some people walk with you just close enough to benefit, but never close enough to bleed with you. They want your light, but not your pain. They want the fire without the burn. And when things get real, when it's time to show loyalty and depth, they vanish. Or worse, they betray. And you sat there, didn't you? Night after night, wondering what you did wrong, replaying conversations, blaming yourself, trying to figure out what you missed. But you didn't miss anything. They just didn't value you. That's it. That's the whole truth. You were too much for people who wanted too little. You offered depth to those drowning in shallow waters. And when they couldn't rise to your level, they tried to convince you that you were the problem. But you weren't. You were just ahead of them. Emotionally, mentally, spiritually. They couldn't match your loyalty, your intensity, your consistency. And instead of admitting they couldn't keep up, they tried to dim your light. That's what weak people do. They break what they can't control. But you didn't stay broken. You picked up every piece, quietly, slowly, on your own. And now you shine brighter than ever. Not because they lit you up, but because they tried to put you out and failed. They're gonna hate the new you. Count on that. The quiet you, the unbothered you, the version of yourself that doesn't flinch at their name, doesn't check your phone hoping for closure, doesn't crack open old wounds just to feel something familiar. You've evolved. You've hardened. You've become exactly what they thought you never would. Untouchable. And they'll call you cold, distant, changed. Damn right you changed. Pain does that. Betrayal does that. Realizing you were surrounded by people who only clapped when it benefited them, that changes you. And thank God for it. Because that pain birthed a monster they can't reach anymore. Not because you're evil, but because you finally learned to protect your energy. You learned that being alone doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're done begging for a place at tables you built for people who couldn't even bring a fork. You've outgrown their games, outgrown their lies, outgrown the cycle of proving yourself to those who never deserved you in the first place. Now look at you. standing alone, still breathing, still building, still fighting. That strength, that's yours. You earned it. Every sleepless night, every tear you wiped on your own, every time you held your chest and said, "I'll be fine," when you knew damn well you weren't. That's the strength they couldn't break. That's the power they underestimated. And now you're dangerous because you no longer need them. You no longer need anyone who made you feel like loving you was a chore. You no longer chase people who sprinted at the first sign of your vulnerability. You're walking alone, yeah, but you're walking free. And that kind of peace, that kind of freedom, that's priceless. That's rare. That's power they'll never get back. They'll pretend like they don't care. That's the first move. They act like your absence means nothing. Like you were replaceable. Like you were just another name in their contact list. But behind that cold mask, they're burning. Because deep down they know exactly what they lost. They know they'll never find someone like you again. Someone who would have walked through fire just to keep their storm calm. Someone who didn't just show up, but stayed, even when it was hard. You were the kind of soul that people pray for and then destroy out of boredom or insecurity. And once they realize they've lost access to that kind of rare loyalty, the panic starts to creep in, quietly, slowly, like a shadow crawling across the wall at midnight. They'll watch everything you do now, not because they love you, but because they need to confirm the thing they fear the most. That you're better without them, that you healed, that you moved on, that their presence was never your oxygen. It was just smoke. And now that the air is clean, now that you're breathing again, they feel suffocated by their own guilt, by their own silence, by the mess they made and the distance you finally built. But here's where it gets dark. They won't admit it. They won't text you that long message saying they were wrong. They won't knock on your door and fall to their knees. No, their pride won't let them. So they'll try to trigger you. Watch for it. A random like on your post. A story view at 3 a.m. A friend they send to check on you. Little things, desperate things, but don't fall for it. That's not closure. That's not redemption. That's fear. That's them realizing they fumbled something real, and now they're trying to get just a taste of your light again, even if it's from the sidelines. They'll never admit how much it kills them that you don't react, that your silence is colder than any insult they could throw, that the new version of you, the one they helped create, is no longer available for manipulation. That's the real revenge. Not shouting, not cursing. Silence. Because silence tells them you no longer care to explain your worth. You no longer need them to understand. You've moved past needing validation from people who needed you more than they ever admitted. And now you look back and you're not angry. Not anymore. You're just done. That's the scariest kind of peace. When you no longer wish them harm, you just wish them gone. Out of your head, out of your space, out of your future. That's what happens when you evolve. You stop engaging. You stop hoping. You stop waiting. And the moment you stop waiting for someone who never showed up, you win. That's the lesson. That's the punchline. You were never asking for too much. You were asking the wrong people. You were trying to pull loyalty out of users, trying to build a future with people who were only passing time. But now, you get it. You've seen behind the mask. You've felt the weight of their absence. You've heard the silence, not as peace, but as truth. And you learn to let it teach you, not break you. You learn that walking alone isn't punishment. It's freedom. It's clarity. It's rebirth. Because every step you take without them is a step away from the lies, the games, the disrespect. And with each step, you find yourself again. Not the broken version, not the exhausted one, the real you. The one they never deserved to meet in full? There comes a moment in every real one's life, a cold, quiet moment, where you stop asking, why did they do this to me? And you start saying, thank God they showed me who they really are. That shift, that's where your power begins. Because it's no longer about them. It's no longer about what they did, what they said, how they lied, or how they vanished. It becomes about you, about what you tolerated, what you gave, and what you'll never allow again. That pain you felt, that wasn't weakness. That was your wake-up call. A brutal, unfiltered revelation that not everyone you call friend, love, or family is worthy of those titles. You were trying to water dead roots, trying to save people who were busy setting fire to everything you built. And when you finally let go, when you finally stopped trying to hold on to what was already rotting in your hands, that's when the healing started. That's when the fog began to lift, and you saw the truth clearly for the first time. They never loved you the way you loved them. And that's not your fault. That's their failure. They'll tell people you changed. Of course they will, because the new you doesn't serve their narrative. The new you isn't available for late-night venting sessions that end with them disappearing again. The new you isn't bending over backward to fix problems they created, so they'll paint you as cold, heartless, fake. Let them. That's just noise. Let them choke on the version of the story they created. Because deep down, when they're alone with their thoughts, when the lights are off and the crowd is gone, they know the truth. They know they lost someone rare, someone who saw them, who listened, who showed up, who stayed. And they'll remember how they watched that person walk away without slamming the door, without screaming, without revenge. Just silence. That kind of exit, it echoes, louder than any goodbye, louder than any breakdown, because it carries a message they'll never forget. I loved you. I gave you everything, and you still made me feel like nothing. So now I give you nothing. You see, most people are addicted to being chased. They crave the attention. They thrive on the idea that no matter how badly they mess up, you'll always come back. They play the victim, twist the truth, rewrite the past, just to keep that door cracked open. But not this time. Not anymore. Because you've learned what they never wanted you to realize. You were the prize. It was never about begging for their love. It was about remembering your own. You were the one who stayed when it got hard. The one who forgave when it was unfair. The one who listened while your own soul was screaming. And when they couldn't match that energy, they told themselves, you were too much. Number, you weren't too much. They were just not enough. And now you've raised the bar so high they can't reach you anymore. Not because you're above them, but because they refuse to grow. That's the hard truth. Growth hurts. It rips away illusions. It forces you to face people for who they really are, not who you hoped they'd be. And that's the hardest pill to swallow, that you were in love with potential. In love with the version of them they never became. And they used that against you. They knew you were loyal to their potential, not their reality. So they wore masks, told half-truths, played the part, until they didn't need to anymore, until they thought they had you hooked. But life has a way of turning tables. And now you're the one they can't reach. You're the one with your energy locked down, your heart armored, your mind sharp. You're not out here proving your worth anymore. You're not explaining yourself to people who never cared to understand. You're not begging for closure. You are the closure. Your absence is the message. Your silence is the lesson. And your peace, that's the revenge they never saw coming. And don't think for 1 second they're happy now. Don't let the fake smiles on social media fool you. Don't let the stories, the captions, the cheap substitutes they cling to distract you from the reality they're choking on every single night. See, people can replace your presence, but they can't recreate your energy. They can try to mimic your patience, your care, your loyalty, but it never hits the same, because you weren't just a person in their life. You were a force. You were that rare breed that loved without limits, gave without keeping score, and stayed long after everyone else would have left. And when they lost you, they didn't just lose a connection. They lost a mirror. You reflected everything they were pretending to be. You held up a standard they couldn't maintain. And now, every time they look into the eyes of someone new, they're haunted by everything they lost in you. That smile you had when you were happy with them, gone. That voice that once brought them peace, silent. That loyalty that could have been their legacy, history. And the sad part, they know they'll never find it again. You don't just recover from losing someone like you. Nah, you live with that. You carry it like a ghost. Because once you walk away, once you decide to protect your peace instead of saving them, you become a memory they replay every time they face someone who only gives them half of what you gave fully. And that's the part they'll never admit out loud. That's the weight they'll carry in private. Because even if they move on, even if they smile and laugh and post like they're free, they know. Deep down, in those silent moments when they're alone with their regrets, they know they had something real and they destroyed it. They know they traded gold for dust. And they'll spend the rest of their life pretending that dust shines the same. But you're done pretending. You're done playing small just to fit inside rooms where you were never truly welcome. You're done being the glue in relationships where no one else even tried to hold the pieces. You've outgrown that life. You've outgrown fake apologies, temporary loyalty, and people who only love you when it's easy. And it's not bitterness, it's not revenge, it's wisdom. It's knowing your value so clearly now that you refuse to negotiate your worth ever again. That version of you, the one who begged, who hoped, who waited for people to see your heart, that version died. And in its place stands someone stronger, colder, wiser. Someone who doesn't chase, doesn't beg, doesn't break at the first sign of loneliness. Someone who walks alone, not because they have to, but because they choose to. Because now you know, peace is better than chaos, dressed as companionship. You spent too long trying to fix people who broke you, too long hoping the ones who hurt you would suddenly heal you. But no more. Now you fix yourself. You hold your own hand. You protect your own energy. And if someone wants to be part of that, they earn it. With consistency, with respect, with actions that don't need explanations. And if they don't, then they watch from a distance like the rest of them. Because once you learn what it feels like to walk in your own power, you never let anyone drag you back into weakness again. They had their chance. They played their game. And now, the game's over. You're not coming back. Not to explain. Not to fix. Not to reminisce. You're not a second chance. You're not a backup plan. You're a closed door with the lock changed and the key destroyed. And that's exactly how it should be. There's something sacred about standing alone after betrayal. Not the fake kind of independence people flash on social media. The real kind. The kind forged in pain, in silence, in nights where you sat with yourself broken and breathless with no one to blame but your own heart for believing in people who were never built to hold you, and yet you rose. You didn't post about it. You didn't scream for sympathy. You got up day after day, scar after scar. You stitched your soul back together with threads of your own strength. That's what they'll never understand. They thought leaving you would destroy you, that without their presence, you'd collapse. They thought your silence was surrender, but really, your silence was strategy. Because you weren't falling apart, you were rebuilding, quietly, ruthlessly, alone. And now, you've become something untouchable. Not because you're numb, not because you're heartless, but because you finally chose yourself. You finally decided to stop handing out love like it was an apology. To stop explaining your depth to people drowning in shallowness. And in that moment, you didn't just survive, you transformed. The world doesn't respect nice people. That's the sad truth. The more you give, the more they expect. The more loyal you are, the more they test you. Until one day, you wake up and realize you were never loved. You were used. You weren't a person to them. You were a service, a crutch, a fix, a mirror they used to feel better about themselves. And when they didn't need you anymore, when the act of pretending became too heavy, they vanished, or worse, they flipped the script and made you the villain, called you too intense, too emotional, too much. But the truth is, you were too real. And real terrifies people who live fake. Real exposes them. Real asks questions they don't want to answer. Real stays consistent when their masks start to slip. And when someone real walks away, that's when they finally realize what they lost. Not a toy, not a backup plan, but a once-in-a-lifetime soul that they were never ready to handle. Let them talk, let them lie, let them play victim. That's all they have left. Stories. Stories to cover the fact that they threw away something priceless because they were too blind, too selfish, too broken to hold it. Meanwhile, you walk in silence, not out of shame, but out of strength. You don't need to defend your name in rooms you've outgrown. You don't need to prove your heart to people who treated it like it was disposable. You let your absence speak. You let your peace scream. And trust me, it hurts them more than anything you could say. Because people don't expect you to stop caring. They expect you to crack, to chase, to come crawling back with your heart in your hands. But when you don't, when you go quiet and never return, that's when they feel it. That's when it hits them that you were the constant in a world full of temporary. That you were the one who meant every word, kept every promise, and stayed long after you should have left. But now you're gone. And what they feel now is not love. It's regret wearing a mask. You see, you can't lose someone who chose to find themselves. You didn't lose anything when you walked away. You freed yourself from the weight, from the confusion, from the chaos of trying to be enough for people who were never even enough for themselves. And that freedom, that silence, that solitude, it's sacred. It's rare. It's the reward for all the nights you cried yourself to sleep wondering why you were never enough. Turns out, you were too much for their small hearts. Too deep, for their shallow souls. And now you walk alone, not as a punishment, but as protection. You protect your heart, your peace, your energy, because not everyone deserves access to you. Not everyone is meant to stand beside you. And the ones who couldn't value you when they had the chance, they don't get a second shot. They don't get a future in a story they tried to end.
Somewhere, a man sits on the edge of his bed with his shoes still on, because taking them off feels like admitting the day defeated him. He is not dramatic. He is not weak. He is just full. Full of words he never said. Full of anger he disciplined. Full of love that returned with dirty hands. Maybe he is you. Maybe you learned early that pain should be quiet, that a man should swallow the storm and call it patience. So you swallowed, again, until your chest became a graveyard for conversations that deserved to happen. And now look at you, still trying to be fair to people who were careless with your spirit. Still giving gentle explanations to those who studied your wounds and pressed them anyway. No, enough of that little theater. Hear this. Your sadness is not a show for them. It is not proof that they won. It is not a signal that you are begging to be rescued. Sometimes, sadness is the soul washing poison out in silence. Sometimes the trembling hands are not failure, they are the body refusing to carry lies anymore. God knows the difference between a person who gave up and a person who is tired. God knows when your silence is worship, when your patience is discipline, when your restraint is heavier than revenge. So do not be ashamed of the weight. Be ashamed only of surrendering your worth to those who never knew how to hold it. Tonight, sit with the pain, but do not marry it. Let it speak, but do not let it command. Let the heart shake, but keep the soul standing. Tomorrow will not ask how beautifully you suffered. It will ask whether you still chose to rise with clean hands. And when morning comes, do not expect the world to clap because you survived the night. Most people are busy polishing masks, not noticing the man holding his pieces together. Stop waiting for witnesses. Some victories are private. Only God knows the blood they cost. You wanted an apology, maybe. A message. A moment where they understood what they did. Human, but dangerous. Because sometimes the person who broke you will sleep while you sit awake explaining cruelty to ceiling. Do not make their awareness the gate to your healing. Let them misunderstand the silence. Let them think you became cold. Let them call your distance pride, bitterness, whatever helps them avoid the mirror. You know the truth. You stayed until staying became self-betrayal. You forgave until forgiveness looked like permission. You loved until love had no place left to sit. Now listen. The next version of you cannot be built from their approval. It must be built from prayer, discipline, sleep, clean food, quiet work, and courage to stop returning to the knife because it once touched you softly. Pain is not a home, it is weather. Heavy, yes. Real, yes. But it moves. So breathe like someone coming back. Wash your face, fix the bed, answer one honest task, take one step without announcing it. No dramatic speech, no grand revenge, just the terrifying little miracle of continuing. And when ache asks for your name, do not give it your whole identity. Tell it, you may sit beside me tonight, but you do not get to drive. You are here. That is not small. That is war, hidden inside breathing. If no one comes to save you, do not make that proof you are not worth saving. Sometimes God leaves the room quiet so you can hear the strength He placed inside you. Not the loud kind, the quiet kind. The kind that gets up with a broken chest and refuses to become cruel. You keep thinking healing will feel beautiful. No. Sometimes healing feels like deleting the message you wanted to send. Sometimes it feels like eating when your stomach is closed. Sometimes it feels like praying with tired words, just, God, help me. That is enough. Look at the joke of it. They wanted kindness, but not responsibility for your pain. They wanted warmth, but not your truth. They wanted old you, the one who could be wounded and still make others comfortable. That version is tired. Let him rest. Do not punish yourself for having a heart. A hard world mocks softness because softness exposes how dead they became inside. Softness without boundaries becomes a cage. Draw the line, quietly. No hatred, no begging, no speech for people committed to misunderstanding you. Tonight, be honest. You are tired. You miss things you should not miss. You remember voices that do not deserve space in your head. You may even want to return to what broke you because pain can become familiar and pretend to be safe. Do not confuse familiar with home. Home is where your soul can breathe. Home is where your silence is not used against you. Home is where you do not bleed to prove loyalty. Strange, isn't it? You waited for life to become gentle before you became strong. Strength is born where gentleness did not arrive. Stand, not because pain is gone, but because purpose is calling. Walk slowly if you must. Speak less if you must. Keep your hands clean, keep your prayer alive, and keep your heart from becoming a weapon. Let grief pass through you, not rule you. Let memory visit, not move in. Let pain teach, not command. Tomorrow enter quietly, with tired eyes, but with a soul that belongs to God. And when tomorrow opens its door, don't walk in begging the day to be kind. Walk in knowing you have been through nights that would have made others disappear. You are still here, not polished, but breathing. And breathing is not small when the chest has carried stones. The mistake is thinking pain must leave before you move. No. Sometimes you move with it sitting beside you, heavy and silent, like a passenger that forgot where to get off. Let it sit, but don't hand it the map. There are people you must stop explaining yourself to. Not because you hate them, because every explanation becomes another little funeral for your peace. They heard you the first time. They simply preferred the version of the story where they stayed innocent. So stop cutting your soul into pieces to feed people who only visit when they are hungry. Stop opening the same door because loneliness knocks with a familiar voice. Stop confusing your ability to endure with a command to stay. You can miss someone and still leave them in God's hands. You can love a memory and still refuse to live inside it. You can forgive without walking back into the room where your dignity was made to stand in the corner. Tonight is not asking you to become stone. It is asking you to become honest. Honest about the pain. Honest about the pattern. Honest about the part of you that kept calling a wound a home because it feared silence. Silence is not empty. Silence is where a broken person begins hearing the truth again. And the truth is simple. You were not created to be a lesson for careless hands. You were not created to be drained, used, then blamed for being tired. Lift your head slowly, not proudly, cleanly. Let the world see less of your pain and more of your discipline. Let them wonder why you no longer react. Let them learn that a quiet soul can close a door without slamming it. Keep going, even if your steps sound weak, even if your heart keeps looking back. Keep going until peace stops feeling strange. Keep going until your name sounds safe in your own mouth again. There is another kind of pain, the quiet one that does not ask for attention. It sits under your ribs like a locked door. People pass by it every day. They shake your hand. They laugh near you. They ask for favors. Nobody hears the little room inside you where everything is falling. And maybe that is why you became so good at looking normal. You learned the art of smiling with tired eyes. You learned to answer quickly before the truth could climb into your throat. You learned to say, "Nothing happened," when everything in you was still happening. Beautiful lie of being strong. They praise you for carrying the weight because they do not want to help you put it down. They admire your silence because it keeps them comfortable. They call you mature when you stop asking for care. But hear me. You are not a machine built to absorb disappointment. You are not a wall where careless people can throw stones and call it life. You are a soul, a breathing soul. And even a strong soul gets tired when it stays brave where nobody is gentle. Tonight, do not chase the people who made you feel hard to love. Do not open your phone like a beggar at the gate of someone else's attention. Do not measure your worth by the silence of people who knew how to reach you and chose not to. Let that silence teach you. Let it show you who only loved your availability. Let it show you who loved your light but not your wounds. Let it show you who clapped when you were useful and disappeared when you needed one hand. This is where you stop negotiating with your own dignity. Not with anger, not with revenge. With a calm face and a heavy heart. You take your soul back, piece by piece. Stop explaining pain to ears pretending to be doors. Strange, isn't it? The moment you stop chasing, they call you changed. The moment you stop bleeding for them, they call you cold. The moment you protect your peace, they act wounded by your boundaries. Let them. Let them misunderstand the version of you that finally learned to survive cleanly. You do not owe anyone the old you. You do not owe anyone the voice they ignored. You do not owe anyone access to the heart they handled like it was cheap. God sees the tears that never fell. God sees the words you buried because you wanted to stay patient. God sees the nights you held yourself together with breath and prayer. Do not think hidden pain is wasted. Sometimes hidden pain becomes strength. So be still. Put your hand on your chest. Feel that? That tired rhythm is still fighting for you. It has not abandoned you. Treat it with mercy. Speak to yourself like someone you must protect. You do not have to become loud to become free. You do not have to insult, expose, or prove. Sometimes freedom is a quiet deletion. Sometimes it is not replying. Sometimes choosing sleep over panic. And when memory comes back, do not let it stay. Let it pass. Yes, it hurts. Yes, it was real. But love that destroys your peace is not a home. It is a lesson. Lessons do not arrive wearing soft clothes. They come with sharp edges. They sit across from you in the dark and force you to admit what you kept decorating with excuses. That person was not confused every time they hurt you. That place was not home just because you knew where the pain lived. That memory was not sacred just because it still knows how to find your chest. Stop calling the wound by beautiful names. Stop calling neglect complicated. Stop calling disrespect a bad day. Stop calling absence a busy life. Some things are simple, and that is why they hurt. When someone cares, care becomes visible. When someone values you, you do not have to beg your heart into evidence. But you kept making arguments for them. You became their lawyer inside your own head. Maybe they were tired. Maybe they did not mean it. Maybe I asked for too much. No, sometimes you asked the right thing from the wrong soul. And this is where the old pattern must die quietly. No funeral, no announcement. No message that begins with, I just want you to know. They know. People know when they are careless. They know when they use your patience as a blanket for coldness. They hope you keep doubting yourself long enough to stay. Do not stay inside a lesson after God has shown you the meaning. Take the wisdom and leave the room. Take the scar, but not the chain. Take the memory, but not the prison. You are allowed to become unreachable to what kept breaking you. Maybe tonight you feel guilty for choosing yourself. Good people often feel guilty the first time they stop being consumed. They mistake boundaries for cruelty because they were trained to bleed politely. Imagine that, a soul apologizing for air. Breathe, not to prove you are fine. Breathe because your body waited too long for permission to be alive. Relax your jaw. Open your hands. You have been gripping ghosts like they might turn back into people. Let them be ghosts. The future does not need you perfect. It needs you honest. Honest enough to say, I am hurting. Honest enough to say, I cannot carry this anymore. Honest enough to stop decorating cages because you fear doors. When loneliness comes, do not let it sell you old poison in a familiar cup. Loneliness is a storm, not a command. It will knock. It will whisper names. It will replay voices. But love does not require you to abandon yourself. Keep your dignity close. Guard it like a tired king guarding the last candle in a ruined castle. Not loud, not proud, just awake. You do not need applause to heal. You do not need them to admit it. God understands what humans simplify. God knows the wound behind the smile, the prayer behind the silence, the patience behind the closed door. Do not panic when nobody claps for restraint. Heaven is not blind to a clean heart trying not to become bitter. And yes, nights will still come back heavy. One small sound, one street, one sentence, one old place will open the ache again. Do not insult yourself for feeling. Healing is not the absence of memory. Healing is memory losing authority. Let it visit, offer it no throne. Let it knock, give it no keys. Let it speak, do not obey. You are learning the holy discipline of not returning to what God already carried you away from. Tonight, choose mercy toward yourself. Drink water. Wash your face. Sit in silence without punishing your thoughts. Pray with whatever words are left. If the only words are, God, I am tired, let those words be enough. You are not behind. You are recovering. You are not weak. You are unlearning survival habits that once protected you and now keep you small. You are finally understanding that access to you must mean something. So continue, not beautifully, honestly. Continue with heavy eyes. Continue with shaking hands. Continue without explaining your silence to people who benefited from your confusion. Continue until peace stops feeling like a stranger and the clock on the wall does not care how heavy your chest feels. Tick after tick. And there you are, sitting in a quiet room, staring at nothing, while the world outside keeps pretending that broken people always make noise. The table is still there. The phone is face down. No message, no apology. No sign that anyone felt the earthquake they left inside you. Silence can become a sound that presses on the bones. And maybe you laugh a little because what else is left? Because the mind does that sometimes. It laughs at the edge of collapse like a tired clown in an empty theater. Then the laugh disappears, and the truth sits down beside you again. You are not sad only because someone left. You are sad because a part of you kept explaining their absence as if love needed 1,000 excuses to be real. You were sad because you betrayed your own instincts just to keep believing in a version of them that only existed when you were forgiving. That is the deepest grief. Not losing a person. Losing the person you became while trying not to lose them. The patient one. The careful one. The one who watched his words, lowered his needs, softened his pain, and called it maturity. But listen now. There is a difference between patience and self-erasure. There is a difference between mercy and letting someone turn your heart into a hallway they pass through whenever they are cold. God loves patience, yes, but He did not create your soul to be stepped on and renamed kindness. Stop making holiness out of suffering that was never asked of you. Stop thinking a clean heart means an open door for everyone. A clean heart can still lock a door. A clean heart can still walk away. You can be gentle and unavailable. You can forgive and still not return. You can wish someone peace and still remove their chair from the table of your life. That is not cruelty. That is a soul remembering its value. So tonight, do not argue with memory. It will come dressed beautifully. It will show you the soft moments first. The laugh, the hand, the almost, the maybe. Memory is a skilled liar when loneliness is hungry. Watch the whole film. Remember the waiting. Remember the disrespect. Remember the way your body knew before your mind admitted it. Remember how small you felt after giving your best. Not to hate them, to stop romanticizing the cage. You are allowed to miss what was sweet. But sweetness mixed with poison still damages the blood. You are allowed to ache, but aching is not a command to go back. You are allowed to feel empty, but emptiness is not proof that the wrong place was home. Do not hand that heart back to careless hands. Some people are not evil in a cinematic way. They are careless. And careless people can destroy slowly while smiling normally. So choose distance before bitterness. Choose prayer before revenge. Choose sleep before panic. Choose discipline before emotional hunger. Choose one clean step over 1,000 dramatic thoughts. Tomorrow, you do not have to transform into a legend. Just do the small things like a person returning from a storm. Open the curtains, drink water, wash your face, make the bed. Say one honest prayer, even if your voice is tired. Let them keep the story where you were too much. Let them keep the version where they did nothing wrong. Let them keep the audience. You keep your peace. You keep your manners. You keep your hands clean. And when pain rises again, do not bow to it. Sit with it like a storm passing over a roof. Hear it. Respect it. But remember, a storm can be loud and still not own the house. You are the house, not the storm. You are the one God still wakes up with breath in your chest. You are the one still being written. You are not a ruined page. You are a page with smoke on it, yes, but the ink is not finished. Continue quietly. Continue without proving. Continue while misunderstood. Continue until your soul no longer flinches at peace. Continue until you can hear your own name and not feel ashamed of how much you endured. And when the tears come close, let them know this. They may visit the eyes, but they will not command the feet. You are still moving. Mourning does not always feel like mercy. Sometimes mourning feels like a witness. It enters through the curtains and finds you still awake, still carrying yesterday in your eyes, still wearing the same silence like a coat too heavy from rain. You hear the street waking up, cars moving, doors closing, someone laughing far away as if the world has not collapsed anywhere. And there is the cruel little miracle of life. It continues even when you are not ready. Funny, isn't it? Your chest can be broken and the kettle still boils. Your soul can be tired and the sun still touches the wall. Your heart can feel like a locked room and people will still ask, "Did you sleep well?" No, you did not sleep well. You fought memories with your eyes open. You argued with ghosts that never answered. You held conversations in your head with people who will never understand the damage they left behind. But listen carefully. You do not need their understanding to begin again. You do not need the person who wounded you to become wise before you become free. Sometimes freedom begins when you stop waiting for the wrong mouth to speak the right words. Do not let your healing be held hostage by an apology that may never come. Some people will never kneel before the truth because their pride is the only throne left. Let God judge what you cannot fix. Your job is smaller and heavier. Stand up. Wash the night from your face. Put your feet on the floor like the earth still accepts you. Do not ask the mirror to show you a hero. Ask it to show you someone still here. That is enough for the first battle. Still here. Not smiling perfectly, not healed, not glowing with some fake victory. Just here, with tired eyes and a soul refusing to become dirty. They wanted you destroyed in a quiet way. Not dead, no, nothing dramatic, just smaller, less trusting, less alive, easier to blame. Do not give them that masterpiece. Keep one part of yourself untouched. Guard it. The part that still believes God sees. The part that still knows kindness is not foolish when it has boundaries. The part that can hurt without becoming a knife. And today, when the ache follows you, do not panic. Let it walk behind you. You are not weak because pain still has footsteps. You are learning to move without asking pain for permission. Go slowly. Answer only what deserves an answer. Save your voice. Save your energy. Save your heart from the theater of people who clap only when you bleed beautifully. There will be moments when you almost return. One old song, one name on a screen, one memory standing in the doorway like it belongs there. It does not belong there anymore. Do not open the door just because the knock sounds familiar. The past knows your weakness. It knows your loneliness. It knows the hour when your guard gets tired. That is why discipline must answer before emotion does. Say it quietly. I can miss it and still refuse it. Again. I can love what was good and still leave what was poisonous. Again. I can forgive and still not return. This is not hatred. This is wisdom with a scar. This is mercy with a lock. Peace is not found by winning arguments, but by leaving tables where your soul is always the meal. You changed because the old you kept burning himself to keep careless hands warm. You changed because patience without dignity became another name for suffering. You changed because God did not pull you through the storm so you could rent a room inside it. So continue, not like a machine, like a wounded believer who still chooses clean hands, like a tired man who still chooses prayer over bitterness, like someone who knows the heart can be broken and still belong to God. When evening comes again and the room grows quiet, do not fear the silence. Sit with it. Let it see the new boundary in your eyes. Let it know you are not the same person it swallowed last night. You may tremble. You may remember. You may feel the old ache rise, but you will not hand it the keys anymore. Breathe. God has not finished writing you. There is a street a person walks after something inside him changes. Same buildings, same people rushing past with keys, coffee lives. But he is not walking as the same man. Something in him has gone quiet in a way nobody can see. He looks at the glass of a closed shop and sees his reflection moving beside the city. Tired eyes, normal clothes, a face that learned how to continue. For 1 second, he wants to ask, when did we become this silent? Silence. People think silence is peace. Sometimes silence is all the screams standing in a line, waiting their turn, and you keep telling them, not here, not now, not in front of strangers. You became disciplined with pain. That is what happened. You learned to fold grief into your pocket. You learned to swallow the sentence before it exposed you. You learned to be polite while your soul was sitting on the floor. But discipline should not become a prison. Strength should not mean abandoning yourself so everyone else can feel safe around your sadness. There is no honor in disappearing beautifully. There is no wisdom in pretending the knife did not enter. Admit it. Say it inside where nobody can interrupt you. That hurt me. Say it again. That changed me. Again. I deserved better than the way I was handled. Not with arrogance, with truth. A truth God already knows. And after you admit it, do not run to the people who damaged you, hoping they will hold the truth gently. Some hands only know how to drop what is sacred. Some ears only listen when your pain benefits them. Some hearts want forgiveness without responsibility. That is the strange comedy of human cruelty. They can watch you drown, then complain that your clothes are wet. They can push you into distance, then call you distant. They can train your heart to close, then act surprised at the lock. Let them be surprised. You are not here to manage the comfort of people who misused your patience. You are here to return to yourself without becoming ugly. Anyone can become bitter. It takes discipline to stay clean. So when the old ache follows you down that street, let it walk. Do not fight every memory like it is an enemy. Listen, then guide it away from the wheel. You are the adult now, not the wound, not the fear, not the desperate part begging for one more sign. You, the one who knows love without dignity becomes hunger. The one who knows peace without boundaries will be robbed again. And yes, there will be days when you miss being naive, when you miss the version of yourself that believed every soft voice was safe. Grieve that version. Thank him. He loved honestly. He did not deserve the lesson, but he survived it. Do not hate him for trusting. He was trying to love with the tools he had. Now you have different tools. Distance, prayer, silence, a slower heart, a sharper eye. Use them. When the phone lights up, do not become weak because the past learned your number. When loneliness speaks, do not answer with your dignity. When guilt comes dressed like compassion, ask it, does this lead me back to peace or back to chains? That question will save you, sometimes by keeping your hands still, sometimes by keeping your mouth closed, sometimes by putting the phone down and whispering, God, protect me from returning to what you already exposed. You are not cold. You are recovering from being too available to pain. You are not heartless. You are learning that a heart can be kind without being open all night to people who enter only during storms. Keep walking. Let the street be ordinary. Healing is not always thunder. Sometimes healing is buying bread with a heavy chest and not calling the person who broke you. Sometimes healing is walking past the place that used to destroy you and feeling the knife less. One day, peace will not feel dramatic. It will feel normal. That will be the miracle. No applause, just your soul sitting inside your body without flinching. Until then, keep your steps honest. Keep your prayers simple. If the tears come close, do not hate them. They are water leaving a house that survived a fire. Let them leave, then continue. There is a chair in every lonely room that knows more than people do. It has held the weight of men who said nothing because words would have made the wound too real. Tonight, maybe that chair is holding you. Maybe your back is bent, your hands are still, and your eyes are staring at a floor. You are not breaking because you are weak. You are breaking because you kept standing in places where your soul was never sheltered. You kept being reasonable with people who turned your patience into a habit. Shame. Some people feel it only when you stop making their cruelty comfortable. Then suddenly they notice your distance. Suddenly your silence becomes a crime. Suddenly the person they ignored becomes the person they accuse. Do not be fooled by that little theater. A wounded heart does not owe a performance to the hands that mishandled it. You do not have to prove that the pain was real. You lived it. God saw it. That is enough. There are tears that never fall because pride catches them first. There are prayers that sound like breathing because the mouth has no strength left. There are nights when a man does not ask for happiness. He asks only to not become bitter. Hold on to that. Not to the person, not to the memory, not to the old door. Hold on to the part of you that still wants to stay clean. Hold on to the part that refuses to repay damage with damage. That part is sacred. You may feel empty because you poured yourself into the wrong cup. But emptiness is not death. Emptiness is space. Space for truth. Space for discipline. Space for God to place something better than the thing you begged not to lose. And yes, You will hate the silence at first. It will feel like punishment. You will reach for noise, for messages, for old conversations, for anything that makes the room less honest. But honesty is not your enemy. It is the doctor pressing where it hurts because the wound cannot heal under decorations. So remove the decorations. Admit who disappointed you. Admit what you tolerated. Admit how tired you became while pretending you were peaceful. Say it with no audience. I was hurt. Then breathe. Say it again. I was hurt, but I am still here. That sentence is not weakness. It is a door opening. Now listen carefully. Some people will return when your absence begins to inconvenience their ego. Not because they understood your value, but because they lost access to your softness. They will come with careful words, half apologies, old warmth, and a face that remembers your weakness. Do not confuse a knock with repentance. Do not confuse being missed with being valued. A person can miss your comfort and still not respect your soul. If they return, let your peace answer before your loneliness does. Let your dignity read the message before your heart starts decorating it. Let prayer stand between you and the old pattern. You are allowed to be sad about what you cannot allow anymore. You are allowed to grieve a door you had to close. You are allowed to miss a voice and still protect yourself from it. This is maturity with scars. Tonight, make no grand promises, just one. Do not betray yourself for comfort. Not tonight, not for a message, not for a memory, not for the small warmth that always came before the same cold morning. Put your hand on your chest. Feel the tired beating. It has carried betrayal, disappointment, fear, and silent anger. Yet it still works. Respect that heart. Do not drag it back to a place where it learned to apologize for needing care. One day, you will laugh differently. Not like a man hiding pain, like a man who survived the lie and did not become one. One day, your peace will not feel suspicious. Your silence will not feel like punishment. Until then, move carefully. Choose clean thoughts when dirty memories arrive. Choose water instead of panic. Choose prayer instead of revenge. Choose distance instead of arguing with closed hearts. The night may still be heavy, but it is not stronger than the one who wakes the morning. And you, even tired, even shaking, even quiet, you are still being carried. Keep breathing. Keep returning. Stay clean.